Today is the official start of the DeMarco reign of terror here at the websites. If you're a longtime follower here at the sites, a longtime patron, you know exactly what that means. It's when me, Al DeMarco, the COO of the company, the general manager of the sites, it's when I start firing guys because I've just had it. And I had it today with two of them, Gus Augustine and Ray Chadwick, because they are no longer members here at the site. Why? Because in Gus Augustine's case, the absolute worst hire I have made in the 18 years that I've run these sites. The absolute worst handicapper I have ever had at these sites, bar none. And in Ray Chadwick's case, the worst type of handicapper you could possibly have at this site. So in Gus Augustine's case, this is a guy who, since I brought him on the site in late November, hit no more than 25% of his plays overall. Now listen, winning percentage. It's the greatest fallacy of all time in this business. Winning percentage is actually inconsequential in one aspect. You can actually have a losing overall record, but still make money over the long haul. How? Well, it's quite simple. Because when your plays are rated, the higher rated plays, you are in turn wagering more money on. It's just common sense. Thus, you can actually have a winning or a losing straight up record, but because of your higher rated plays, which again, you're allocating a larger percentage of your bankroll on those higher rated plays, if they are cashing in at a higher percentage, you are in turn making more money for yourself and your customers. That's why when people talk about winning percentage and you hear that, oh, you got to hit it a 58.4% clip, or it's just such BS. And people in this business, when they want to twist the numbers like they're accountants and they're frauds, when they want to use those numbers to their advantage, they talk about it. Uninformed people in the industry and customers alike, when they want to talk about winning percentage, they talk about it like it's this great thing. Inconsequential. Let's talk about the net profit your plays turned. That's wins minus losses minus the VIG. Over the long haul, it's the profit, net profit. That's what matters. But the bottom line, when you're a guy like Gus Augustine and you only wanted about a 25% clip overall, ain't no way you are ever going to turn a profit, period. So I fired his ass today. Now, the problem with a guy like Ray Chadwick is that he is one of these handicappers. He's consistently inconsistent. And he goes on nice little winning streaks and extended losing streaks. The worst type of handicapper you can be associated with, because these guys are crash and burn type of guys. They win like this and then they lose like that. It's a sine wave, but it's the bad type of sine wave. You just can't hook your wagon to these type of guys. They're the type of guys that they win like 9 out of 12 days, and then suddenly they lose 17 out of 25. The winning streaks are nice, the losing streaks are longer. You just can't fathom that. As a gambler, I can't stand having losing streaks like that. So you as a gambler, you as a customer, can't afford to hitch your wagon to guys like that. Ideally, you want a guy that wins, he loses some, because everybody's going to lose. Nobody wins all the time. You know it as well as I do. Anybody that claims they win all the time, they're liars, they're frauds, they're cheats. There's a lot of them in this industry that claim to, but they don't, right? They don't. So the guy that you really want is going to win some, he's going to lose some, but at the end of the period, whether it's a month, whether it's a season, whether it's a year, they're going to turn a profit. And I will bet you 95% of the time, those are the guys that are consistent. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But the longer up streaks and shorter down streaks they're going to have. Guy like Ray Chadwick never could do it. Couldn't do it here in the 6-7 months he was here at the site. His winning streaks were nice, but his losing streaks were extended. So you'd build up a little bankroll, you'd have some faith in him, and then he would just bury you. So those guys are both gone. I added 2 new guys to the site. Tony Weston and Dwayne Connors. You can read about them here at the site. The next guy who is going to be gone, I'll tell you right now, it's Dom Chambers, who for 2 straight years, was magnificent in the NHL. But coming into this season, $10 bettors had won a little over I think it was $7,400 the past 2 years. As of yesterday, those same $10 bettors, because this season has been so bad, they had that profit down to $2,900. That's how bad he has been this season. A couple more weeks of the regular season left. The playoffs are in front of us. I made the move. I got rid of him today too, and I've got another guy coming in that does exceptionally well in the NHL, and I'm adding him to the site here either tomorrow or the next day. And there may be another handicapper soon leaving the site as well. I will update you here. As I said, it's my reign of terror. It's not the first time I've done this, but I just cannot accept these lousy performances. And you may be wondering, well, isn't it easy to get another handicapper? Aren't they dime a dozen in this industry? Oh, yeah, they are. But here's the deal. I will not ever have another handicapper on this site who isn't exclusive to us. That is a problem in this industry. You will find so many handicappers where their picks are available at a dozen or more sites. Many of them have multiple picks at multiple price points at multiple sites. So you never know, well, what's really their best bet? Is it that diamond play there? Is it that platinum play there? Is it that 109 play over here? And many of them are also selling other selections via their 800 service because they use the internet sites as a loss leader to suck you in at one price point, so then their phone room guys can beat you up for hundreds and thousands of dollars more. Yeah, they still exist. The other thing is that you notice that since inception, we've never had a sports book, an offshore sports book, the majority of which are run in one building in San Jose, Costa Rica, and they're all like an incestuous relationship. We never had any offshore sports books here. Most sites you go to, you see the handicappers don't really care about selling their picks. That's not how they make their revenue. 100% of our revenue is derived from selling sports picks. They are in reality running what we call half sheets. They get sign-up bonuses by pushing their customers coming to the site to a sports book. You know the drill. Hey, get a week of service or get tonight's free pick or get a month of service by joining XYZ Sportsbook, where you're also going to get a $25 free first bet or 10% of your initial post-up deposit back in free cash. The sports books are fronting the sites. That's how the sports books in Costa Rica get their customers. It's been going on from day one. That's how they operate. So you often have to wonder, what is the inducement? What is the incentive for those particular handicappers to win? There is none. They're making money when you post up the kickback from the sports book. It's not about them selling picks. So I will never have anything to do with anybody that has anything to do with those type of sites. That's why anybody here on these sites are exclusive to me. End of story. Listen, I know all the scams, all the shysters in this business. I know them all. I know every scam in this business. I've been in this business since 1989, guys. Over the next few days, I'll tell you more of them. Okay, listen, the past 2 nights, I came out with my normal top-rated 15 dime plays. Monday night, it was Texas Tech coming with the easy win at home against Texas. And then last night, this is I talked about some of the things that I like about handicapping, and there's a number of different things that I love about this. But, last night, I dipped my toes into a conference that I rarely do, the Atlantic 10. I have to be honest with you, I knew very little about Virginia Commonwealth before breaking down and researching its game yesterday against George Mason. And the collection of games I had yesterday, I looked at them all, and I just kept coming back to the Rams game against George Mason. I thought, man, Virginia Commonwealth, 5-point favorite at home against George Mason. I just thought, that is just too cheap. Well, actually, it was on the road. They were playing in Fairfax, Virginia. And I thought, I got to use Virginia Commonwealth, a team that I really knew nothing about before spending a half hour researching that particular matchup. 15 dime best bet, the Rams win 71-36. Well, you know me, guys. When I'm rolling, time to raise the bar, and that's what I'm doing again tonight. The 11th Raise the Bar 20 dime college basketball release of the season goes tonight. It's Washington, Oregon State. And once again, you get it for half price. and the coupon code is HALF. All the other discounts and promo codes are over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary plays. One of the teams that has made me so much money this year, it's been Marquette. Another one of them happens to be Gonzaga, who was a 20-dime raise the bar winner over St. Mary's on Saturday. Marquette disappointed me on Sunday. I'd won 6 out of 7 20-dime plays before losing with Marquette when the Golden Eagles lost only their second home game of the entire season when they got upset by Creighton. So a stretch where they had won 20 out of 22 games, with both losses coming only against St. John's. They have now lost consecutive games. At Villanova last Wednesday, I think it was, and then at home against Creighton. And what's the common thread in those 2 consecutive losses? An over-reliance on Marcus Howard, their leading scorer, who averages 25 points a game. Against Villanova, he had 25 points, and Sam Hauser was the only other double-digit scorer with 13. Against Creighton, he had 33, and nobody else had more than 8. The other common thread, turnovers. A problem that has been, I don't want to say a consistent problem all season for the Golden Eagles, but a problem that has reared its ugly head far too many times for this team this year. They had 18 miscues against Villanova, 22 at home against Marquette. Against Creighton. The other problem against Creighton is their 2 big men, Theo John and Ed Murrow Jr. Both games against Villanova and Marquette, they picked 2 fouls up early, and that really hurt them because it shortened the team's rotations as well. So tonight, Marquette finds itself as only a 2-point favorite in a 6:30 Eastern Time tip-off, playing on the road against Seton Hall. A Seton Hall team that's coming off 3 straight losses, losing by 1 point at home against Xavier, losing at St. John's by 8, losing by Georgetown by 6. But you're getting value here. Marquette's clearly the superior team. If Marquette had won against Creighton, Marquette's surely laying 4.5 to 5 points tonight. Instead, we're getting value. Marquette's the better team. This team will bounce back. I say they bounce back tonight. It was my second favorite play on the board. Instead, I went out west to the Washington game against Oregon State in Seattle. I like Marquette here tonight. I'm going to go with them to bounce back in this particular contest. And listen, Marquette is still won and covered 6 of its last 7 on the road. They won the first matchup 70-66 on January 12th at home, and I'm going to go with them in this particular spot. Here's an interesting game for you. Something you should be aware of. Northwestern tonight is a 1.5-point favorite at home against Ohio State. Kind of surprised the team that's lost 10 straight games, including 4 of them in that stretch at home, is a 1.5-point favorite. Kind of surprised that the team that has lost 30 of the last 32 meetings is a 1.5-point favorite at home in this series. Not really, because Ohio State's leading scorer and rebounder, Caleb Wesson, is suspended for this game. Indefinitely suspended. He missed Ohio State's game against Purdue on Saturday, and the Buckeyes suffered their worst loss of the entire season, 86-51. So this Ohio State team that seemingly, after beating Iowa last week, was on the verge of wrapping up probably an at-large invite no matter what happened in the upcoming tournament, is now maybe on the bubble once more. Listen, Wesson had a big game in the first meeting, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 block shots. He averages about 15 points and 6.5 rebounds a game. But again, Northwestern has lost 10 straight games. But in the first meeting, it was close. It was a 24-20 game at halftime. And Northwestern only lost 53-49 overall. Can you pull the trigger, though, on Northwestern tonight? It reminds me of the Kansas State-Kansas game last Monday. Kansas State was the better team. Kansas State was playing better ball. Kansas had just gotten annihilated on the road against Texas Tech, but Kansas was at home, and Kansas always wins against Kansas State. But Kansas State was like a 3.5-point road dog in that game, and it was so tempting to take Kansas State. So what happens? Kansas naturally won. So I'm looking at this game, right? And then all those numbers I just told you, Northwestern seemingly should be the play. Is it a trap? I think so. So, I'm just taking a guess. I think Ohio State is the way you got to play the damn game here tonight. So Ohio State is the way to go. Here's another interesting game tonight. Davidson is a 5-point favorite at home against St Bonaventure. So Davidson's 12-4 in the Atlantic 10. Right, VCU is going to win the regular season championship by virtue of their win last night. But St. Bonaventure is nipping on their heels at 11-5. It's the home finale for Davidson. They're coming off a 77-59 win at home against Fordham. They're 7-1. 7-1 at home in conference play. They're 13-1 overall at home. They won the first meeting 75-66 at St. Bonnie on February 1st. Bonnie, however, has won 6 in a row overall. Bonnie has won 6 straight games on the road as well. But the favorite has won 5 straight in the series versus the spread. And Davidson has covered 5 of the last 6 meetings. But the St. Bonaventure team is playing like gangbusters right now. And they're a 5-point road dog. And Davidson did lay an egg 2 games ago at home against Dayton. Is St. Bonaventure plus the points the way to go? Now, I got to be honest with you. In this particular situation, although I feel Ohio State is a good play in that previous game I just mentioned against Northwestern, I'm just not sure if I can pull the trigger and tell you, even with a guess, to go with St. Bonaventure here. I do believe Davidson can get the job done because at -5, that is not a bad price to take the Wildcats in this particular game. But still, the best free pick and the official free pick tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Marquette. I do like Ohio State, and I lean a little toward Davidson. So that'll do it. I wish you well, and talk to you again tomorrow when we do this again. Good luck, everybody.